Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Priyavrata and today is the very first lecture on Amazon Web Service, that is AWS. So guys, before we start, let me introduce myself. My name is Priyavrata Sarkar. I am having total 9 years of experience into Windows admin and 2 years of experience into AWS, and I am Microsoft certified as well. So let's get started with our agenda today. We'll discuss about what is cloud computing. Then I'll show you how to create free tier account in AWS. Then we'll discuss about EC2 instance and their purchasing option. And at last we'll discuss about services in a cloud. So the first topic is what is cloud computing. So cloud computing is nothing but on-demand delivery of compute power, database, storage and application through cloud service platform via internet with pay-as-you-go pricing model. So as you know, there are so many cloud service platforms are there in the market. That is Google Cloud, Alibaba, Microsoft Azure and AWS, that is Amazon Web Service. So whatever we want to access in cloud service platform, we require internet. Without internet, we cannot access it. And pay-as-you-go pricing model means the amount of hours we use the instances or any AWS or any cloud platform, we have to be paid. That is called pay-as-you-go pricing model. That whatever amount of hours we use, we have to be paid. Suppose we use 4 hours, then we need to pay for only for 4 hours. That is called pay-as-you-go pricing model. As well as you can say this as on-demand instance. So I'll discuss about on-demand instance later. So this is what cloud computing, the definition of cloud computing. So whenever in the interview they may ask you what is cloud computing, then you can say in a short while that is cloud computing is nothing but a computing services like database, storage, application, server and network using internet. In a simple word you can say like this, that cloud computing is nothing but it is a on-demand delivery of compute services like database, application, storage, server and network via internet. So this is the definition of cloud computing. Hope you guys understand this, what is cloud computing now. So in the picture you can see the cloud computing, that is cloud, and there are so many application or there are so many application or so many compute powers are the computing services are there: storage, server, mobile devices, applications, database, and this is private cloud, public cloud and hybrid cloud. In this we'll discuss later about all this. Private cloud means which we have privately, that Amazon Web Service, Microsoft Azure, they have their own cloud, and IBM, Alibaba, they have their own cloud. Public cloud means which we can take from AWS or Microsoft Azure or any other cloud service platform. That is called public cloud. Hybrid cloud is a mixture of private cloud and private cloud. Public cloud and private cloud. The mixture of public cloud and private cloud is called hybrid cloud. So next is the definition of AWS. So what is AWS? As you know, that is Amazon Web Service, and it stores and access data over internet and can access from remote server. That means you can access any instances or any VPC or any other things over internet, or you can access also through remote server, but it does not store any data on your personal computer. That means you can access it or you can store the data over internet, and also you can access from remote server. That means you should have some instance or key pair for security purpose. Through that you can access the data or store the data over internet, or you can access it from anywhere. Wherever you want you can access it, but it requires internet. And also, if you access or store any data, it will not store in your physical server, physical machine, or any personal computer. It will store in the AWS only. That is called AWS, Amazon Web Service. Next is, it offers flexible, reliable, scalable, easy to use and cost effective cloud computing solution. So this is the advantage of AWS. Like you can say as an advantage, flexible. It is a flexible, reliable, scalable, easy to use and cost effective cloud computing solution. So next is Amazon Machine Image, that is AMI. AMI is nothing but it is template that contains software configuration like operating system, applications, server and application which required to launch instances. So I'll show you one when we do a lab. I'll show you that what is AMI. AMI is nothing but it contains software configuration details like OS details, application server details or application. So without AMI we cannot launch any instances. So to launch any instances we required AMI. What is instance? It is a virtual server in Amazon for running an application on AWS infrastructure. That means you can say it as a virtual server, or we have physical server and one virtual server. It's not like VMware or anything other. Apart from that, it's not like VMware or hypervisor, Hyper-V. Its instance means in the AWS it is a virtual server. So to run an application, or to run an operating system, or to run any server or database, we required instances. So for running an instances, or for running an application or server or OS, we required instances, and that is also called as a virtual server. What is elastic block storage? Elastic block storage is nothing but it provides a block level storage volumes for the use with the EC2 instance and will store the data permanently even after stopping the instances. That means it if you terminate the instance, you have created one server, if you have created an instance, so it will create instances. So after completing your work, if you stop the instances, or if you reboot the instances, but then also the data will be safe, data will be stored in that drives. That is called EBS, the elastic block storage. It will not get deleted from your server or from your instances. But if you terminate the instances, then it will get deleted. Everything will get deleted. Everything will get terminated. That is called EBS. And next is store instance, SSD. It provides temporary block level storage volume and will not store the data if we stop the instances. In this, it's opposite. If we stop the data, or if you stop the instances, or if you reboot the instances, then it will not store the data. So in the interview they may ask you one simple question, that is the difference between elastic block storage and store instance. So you need to tell them that EBS is a block level storage volume and SSD store instance is a temporary block level storage volume. This is the main difference between EBS and SSD. So it is the important questions in the interview. They may ask you that what is the difference between elastic block storage and store instance, that is SSD. This is the first point. The first difference is EBS is the block level storage volume. Store instance SSD is the temporary block level storage volume. Next important difference is it will store the data permanently if we stop or restart the instances. But for a store instances or SSD, it will not store the data if we stop or restart the server or instances. These are the two differences between elastic block storage and store instances. So next I'll show you how to create free tier account in AWS. So this is the new tab. So we need to click on sign into the console. Then if we just scroll down, you can see create a new AWS account. So you just need to click on that. After clicking on that, this page will open. Here you need to enter the email address. I enter the email address. I'll give as 91@gmail.com. Always remember this email ID should be active, otherwise it will not work because they will send one link to activate. I'll enter the password here. Here I'll enter the name. Then I'll click on continue. Here you need to select whether you need to use for business purpose or for personal purpose. As per your requirement, you just to select that. I'll go for personal purpose because this is for demo. I'll enter the name. You need to enter the mobile number. Then you need to enter the country. It's India. Address you need to give. So I'll give the address. I'll enter the city. Then I'll enter the state. All the details you need to fill here. Then I need to click on I have agreed an agreement. Then click on continue. After filling this form, you need to click on continue. Here you need to enter your billing information like credit card or debit card number. And no need to worry about this because they are asking for billing information so that if any bill generate for your account, so they can deduct your amount. Suppose you have used some instances which is not free tier, then they will charge and they will automatically deduct the amount from your account. Whatever the amount information will give, whether it may be a credit card or debit card, from there they will deduct the amount. And also while creating this free tier account, they will deduct the 2 rupees because they will just verify whether the account is active or not, that your credit card or debit card is active or not. And then also no need to worry about that. After 3 to 5 days they will refund that 2 rupees as well, so that they can verify whether that account, credit card or debit card is active or not. That's why they will deduct 2 rupees from that account. So no need to worry about that, guys. So whenever you create is any instances or VPC or any other database storage, just before creating, please see the videos or see that Google whether it is free tier eligible or not. Then only you can create. Then you can proceed for the creation of its instances or VPC or any other storage or database. Otherwise it will deduct your amount. So after entering all this information, you need to click on I have PAN card. Then you need to enter the PAN card details and click on verify and continue. So after entering this, I am not entering because it's confidential. So after entering this all the information, they will ask for the OTP which will come to your mobile, which is registered to your bank account. After entering your OTP, They will tell that your account has been created, and they will send one link to your Gmail ID. You need to click on that and you need to activate that account. So once it get activated, you can use the AWS account, which is free. Okay, this is how you need to create free tier account in AWS. Next, I'll discuss about EC2 instance, that is Elastic Cloud Computing. So EC2 instance is nothing but a virtual server in AWS which provides on-demand computing resources for hosting an application. As I told you, what is instances? The same thing here also. EC2 instance. It is a virtual server in which we provide on-demand computing resources. That means to run an application or database or any other computing resources, we require EC2 instance. Also, you can tell that it is a virtual server in AWS which provide on-demand computing resources for hosting an application. Hosting an application means whether it may be a server, database, or any VPC network, anything it may be. To run that application, we require instances or else EC2 instances. In AWS, it is called as EC2 instances. This is the definition of EC2 instances. That is, EC2 instance is nothing but a virtual server in AWS which provides on-demand computing resources for hosting an application. So some of the features of EC2 instance, that is virtual computing environment known as instances. I already discussed on this. Pre-configured template known as Amazon machine image. Secure login information known as key pair. Persistent storage volume known as Amazon Elastic Block Storage. Static IPv4 address for dynamic cloud computing known as Elastic IP address. So whenever when we do a lab on how to create EC2 instance, I'll show you all this one by one and I'll discuss everything on this. So this is the features of EC2 instance. So types of instances. There are first is compute purpose general purpose instances which have balanced memory and CPU. That means that doesn't mean that it has same memory, same CPU. That balance means if it has 1 GB memory, then it is have 1 CPU, like that. So always we are using most of the time we are using general purpose instances for instance type. Compute optimize means it has more CPU than RAM. CPU should be more than RAM. That is called compute optimize. If our requirement or client requirement is we require more CPU than RAM, then we use compute optimize. Next is memory optimize. We required more RAM to run an application smoothly. Like it requires 8 GB RAM or 16 GB RAM to run an application. We will go for memory optimize. Accelerate computing or GPU, that is graphic optimize. Whenever we required requirement is to have the graphic cards or graphic cards, or we required any. Suppose we sometimes we required a graphics to play a games, so that for that purpose we use GPU or accelerate computing. Storage optimize means it has low latency. Low latency means storage volume will be more with a low latency. High memory optimize means it should have high RAM, like above 16 GB, and nitro system. Suppose we need to run a database which is huge database, then for that we need to use high RAM and nitro system. So for that purpose we require high memory optimize. So this is the main important topic. In the interview also they may ask you what are the types of instances. So if they ask you what are the types of instances, you need to tell them there are 6 types of instances. That is general purpose instance, compute optimize, memory optimize, accelerated computing GPU, storage optimize, and high memory optimize. These are 6 points, 6 types of instances you have. And also you can explain briefly about the types of instances. So in the interview they may ask you these questions. So whenever they ask you, don't need to worry about that. You need to tell them whatever I have mentioned here. So next is EC2 instance purchasing option. So there are 6 types of purchasing option in EC2. First is on-demand instance. Next is dedicated instance, dedicated host, spot instance, schedule instance, and reserved instance. But now what AWS has done, AWS has excluded 3 purchasing option, that is dedicated instance, dedicated host, and schedule instance. They have excluded these 3 purchasing option from EC2 instance in AWS. So on-demand instance, as I told you, pay-as-you-go pricing model, the same thing is there or is called as on-demand instance. The amount of hours we use, we have to be paid. Suppose we have used an instances for 4 hours, then we need to pay only for 4 hours. Suppose we have used that instance for 2 hours, then we need to pay the amount only for 2 hours. That is called on-demand instance or pay-as-you-go pricing model. What is dedicated instance and dedicated host? This has their own host application, dedicated application and host, but this dedicated instance and dedicated host depends on demand instance. That's why they have excluded these 2 instances from purchasing option of EC2 instance in AWS, because they both have a dependency on demand instance. So that's why they have excluded. So next is spot instance. Suppose we have one server which is ideal, no one is using that instances. So what we will do, what AWS will do, AWS will give that instance or server with a very low price of the very low bidding price. Suppose I have one server ideal, that is no one is using that server, so we give them that server with the price of $2. That is bidding price of $2. But suppose that bidding price goes above the market value or market price, then what AWS will do, AWS will terminate that instances or server within a 2 minutes of time. They will inform you, and within 2 minutes of notice they will terminate the instances. So that is called a spot instance. Suppose we have one server that I have given to the client to the $2, but suppose suddenly that bidding price goes above the market price, then market price of $4, then what AWS will do, AWS, for what I will do, I will just terminate that instance with the 2 minutes of notice. That is called a spot instance. Next is schedule instance. We can schedule it, that instances or server, how much hours we will use. Suppose we want to use that for 4 hours on every night. Suppose from 10 p.m. to 2 p.m. we need to use from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. So we can schedule it in that instance that only for 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. they will run that instances. We can schedule it. That is called schedule instances. But this has a dependency on reserved instances. So we have excluded schedule instances. Next is reserved instance. The reserved instance is nothing but we can reserve these instances for 2 to 5 years of time for running the database or any other application, or for running any database, or for any other purpose, for future purpose. We can reserve that instances. Suppose we have purchased one instances from AWS. Suppose we required up to 2 years, it may require any instances. So for future purpose we can reserve any instances for 1 to 3 years of time period. Okay, that is called reserved instance. So we'll go through the definition. There are 3 ways to pay for Amazon EC2 instances. That is on-demand instance. It is a virtual server that runs in AWS and are purchased at a fixed rate. The amount of hour we will use have to be paid. Price will be charged whenever an instance is changed to stopping state. Okay, that is called on-demand instance. Spot instance, the unused capacity at AWS is given in the market for bidding, and instances are terminated with 2 minutes notice when market price goes above the bid price. That is called spot instance. Reserved instance, it gives an option to reserve the database instance for 1 or 3 years term and provide a capacity reservation when used in a specific availability zone. That is called reserved instance. So in the interview they may ask you how many ways or how many types of purchasing options are there in AWS or in EC2 instance of EC2 instance in AWS. Then you need to tell them there are 3 ways. We have 3 ways for the purchasing option of EC2 instance in AWS. That is on-demand instance, a spot instance, and reserved instance. You can explain them one by one on briefly. Okay, if they ask you the purchasing option of EC2 instances. Next is services in a cloud. So there are 3 services in a cloud. First is infrastructure as a service. Second is platform as a service and software as a service. So in every cloud service platform we have these 3 services, whether it may be a Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, Alibaba, everything we have. For every service platform we have these services. So first is infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure means we require network. In the infrastructure what we required, basic we required network, storage, server, virtualization, operating system. These 5 things we required in an infrastructure or in an organization. Okay, that is called infrastructure as a service. Platform as a service. Platform as a service, to run a database, to run any database, SQL database, Oracle database, we required middleware and runtime. So that is called platform as a service. So what platform as a service contains network, storage, server, virtualization, operating system, middleware, and runtime. These 7 things we required for platform as a service. At last, software as a service. Software as a service is like application, whatever it may be the application, data and application, that is called software as a service. This is 9 layers we have in software as a service. Network, storage, server, virtualization, operating system, middleware, runtime, data and application. This call comes under software as a service. So we need to go through that services definition. Infrastructure as a service, it is a service that provides hardware and infrastructure such as server, storage and network over internet. That is called infrastructure as a service. Next is platform as a service. It provides a complete set of middleware, database management systems, programming languages, web server software required for subsystem development. That is called platform as a service. Next is software as a service. It is a service that allows you to use applications that were previously provided as a package over internet. That is called software as a service. So this is the 3 types of software services in a cloud. That is infrastructure as a service, platform as a service and software as a service. So this is all about the basic on AWS. So if you have any doubt, you can comment me in the section. I'll reply on that. And guys, please don't forget to like and subscribe my channel, and don't forget to share also to your colleagues or friends or family, those who want to learn AWS. So in the next lecture, I'll show you how to create EC2 instances. So don't forget to miss that lab. I'll do it on next lecture. So thank you guys, and don't forget to like and subscribe my channel. Thank you so much. Good night.